My name is Rachelle Smith, entrepreneur, professional speaker, and author. Last time, highlighted the importance of your recognizing that the real you is okay. All right? And we're continuing this overall theme on authenticity, and I just want to continue to emphasize this point because so many people around the world just struggle with this every day, waking up, not liking themselves, not liking who they are, not liking their lives, wishing they were someone different, wishing they had different things, wishing their life were different than it currently is. And of course there's changes that can be made and proactive steps that you can take to improve your life. But I want to fundamentally talk about you, who you are as a person. And yes, you've heard me say, it seems like a million times, we're all imperfect. Human perfection does not exist. All right, so we all have strengths, we all have weaknesses, we're all flawed individuals. And so, but I want you to recognize that the real you is okay. The flawed you, the imperfect you is okay. Okay, we all have different personalities. We all have different characteristics that make us unique. Could you imagine if the world only existed of individuals and we were all alike? Okay, that would be so boring. That would be just awful. And so to even delve even deeper, when society convinces people that who they aren't isn't okay, they should be this, they should have this, they should do this. There's a lot of shoulds, you notice, when it comes to what society dictates. And so I'm challenging you today to live an authentic life, one that is based on who you are as a person, recognizing that who you are, what you want, the direction and the life path that you're currently on or want to pursue is okay. All right, society will quote unquote tell you what you should do and all these shoulds. But society is not the one, is incapable truly of living your life, all right? Only you are. And when I think back to, again, the societal, particularly roles, society likes to assign roles to people and the things that you should do, be, and have, and career-wise, I mean, this is huge. You got to make a certain amount of money to be okay, to be deemed a success. You got to have this kind of house. You got to have these type of assets. You got to have all of this and all of that, and you got to travel here and go there and do all of these things, be a member of the country club. I mean, there's so many different things that society dictates, all right? And many people spend years, actually waste years and years of their life striving to obtain all these things and to ultimately attain them and say, is this it? Is this all there is? I worked and I sacrificed my life and my happiness and who I truly was for this? All right, and I can give you so many examples from my own life, particularly in the career front. That is huge. I'm career driven. Okay, now I started out, I always knew as a little girl, I always knew I was going to college. That was just always, that wasn't even an if, it was just a matter of when. So I knew college was in my future, but when we were in Korea, so I was at Seoul American High School, so the summer before my 10th grade year, had the awesome opportunity to do an internship at the CID division. So again, this is headquarters, 8th Army, Yongsan, so Yongsan Army Base. And so I had the awesome opportunity to do an internship. So CID stands for Central Investigative Division, all right, for the U.S. Army. So for that particular post, and I believe they probably had some influence over the surrounding bases as well. So love that internship, and I decided that I was so inspired that I was going to become a cop in the military. All right, and so I was all gung-ho, and that was great. And so, and that dream quickly fizzled in the first week of my JROTC class. And when I quickly learned, again, going back to authenticity, all right, I am a nonconformist by nature. It's authenticity, that's just who I am. I like to do my own thing. I like to, dance to my own music and the beat of my own drummer. That is just fundamentally who I am. And so I struggled. And I was in that class for a year, and that was probably one of the worst time periods of my life. All due respect to JROTC and the ROTC programs at the college levels, with all due respect to military. Again, my father was a naval officer, my brother was an Army officer. Wonderful, wonderful things, wonderful, wonderful career paths. But what I'm saying is, okay, it wasn't right for me. All right, and so I, of course, at that young age in high school, didn't recognize that I was a nonconformist, and that whole do this because I tell you to just did not work for me. All right, it works for a lot of people, and that's awesome, and that's wonderful. All right, and so I just want to encourage you. Fortunately, I made that mistake, before, making it a serious career path, because I probably wouldn't have, there's no probably. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have lasted 24 hours in the military, because that's just, just fundamentally just not who I am, and it wouldn't have worked. So that's an example. Fast forward on to college. When I first entered undergraduate college in Louisiana, my first major, my first career path going in was to be a linguist for the Foreign Service. I have a gift of languages. I love languages, just love languages. And so that was my whole, take at the time, my whole career path. I was going to be a linguist. It was going to be wonderful. But then, something told me, Rachelle, just start translating. Grab some paper, grab the newspaper, grab the Spanish language newspaper or whatever. I would drive to Texas and get some Spanish language, and I would just sit there verbatim translating, just translating. Okay, and I quickly realized that just wasn't, it was great work. It was wonderful. I love it. I love languages. That wasn't, the issue. It was just a matter of, me rotely just sitting there, no interaction with people. I love people. I love being out, as you heard me say, with the sales aspect of my personality. I'm aggressive. I like to be out pursuing opportunities and making things happen. And so for me to sit there and do this, or perhaps even sitting in a courtroom as an interpreter, that just would not have worked, but fortunately that did not, deter my love of languages. I continued and moved forward in that regard, but I actually paired it with public relations. So I was a double major as an undergraduate, and certainly do not regret that path at all. And so, from the career standpoint, I've been there. So I've had to learn these lessons of authenticity. I told you, went to Northwestern. I was going to be this big marketing guru in corporate America. I was going to be this SVP of marketing somewhere, senior vice president of marketing somewhere. This big Fortune, I wanted to be like Fortune 50. I wanted to be at a top company. And I got that great job at General Mills, Minneapolis, top marketing company, and I absolutely hated it. All right, hated it. Wonderful company, great people. But for me to sit there, like I told you, I don't like to be tied down. So I'm sitting in meetings, you can't make any individual decisions. I have a great need for autonomy. All right, so I like to be out making things happen, decisive, making things, a reality. But when you're sitting there and you have these 12 to 18 month planning cycles and nothing is happening in terms of generating results, which is important to me, it just wasn't a good fit. I love marketing. Marketing will always continue to be what I do, even now. And so, there's still that love for the career path in the industry, in the field. But in that environment, it just wasn't me. Moved on over into sales, absolutely loved it, because that was a great fit for my personality. So folks, from a career standpoint, you spend so much time, we all spend so much of our lives working, all right? And there's just countless people who are doing things they don't want to be doing from a professional standpoint, in careers because their parents thought they should do it, or society tells them that they should do it, or they don't have the confidence to pursue what they really want to do. Folks, don't let that be you. And if it's currently you, don't feel bad. Don't be ashamed. But just know that change is possible. All right? I'm challenging you, or I'm empowering you to get on the right path. Do not spend the rest of your life miserable, unhappy in the workplace because you're doing something that isn't truly reflective of who you are deep down, because it's so obvious when that happens. All right? Another societal role is that whole aspect of family and marriage, all this and that. For those of you who know me, you already know what I'm getting ready to say. For those who don't know me, you're getting ready to learn if it hasn't kind of come across already. Okay, you've heard me say before, I don't like to be tied down. And so marriage is something I have never, ever, thought that, yes, I'm going to tie the knot, I'm going to do this. Wonderful institution. Marriage is wonderful, ordained by God. Great thing. But what I'm saying is, it's not for everyone. All right, and for those of us who are at least smart enough to know the thought of being tied down and having that, just all of that. I don't even want to get into all of that. I don't have time to get into all of that. To recognize, that's not me. So why would I, why would I just tear a man's life apart knowing how I truly am, okay? When the marriage would be annulled in less than 24 hours. I mean, I could see it now. The next day after the wedding, the next morning when I'm heading off to the gym and he says, okay, well, I'm coming with you. And I'm like, no, you're not. That would be it right there. There'd be this fight, I'm sure, this argument. And I would say, you know what? I knew this was going to happen. So I had my attorney draw up these annulment papers. Would you sign here, please? And so you may be laughing, but for those who know me, you know how serious and how true that is. But again, society pushes people into pursuing relationships. Again, people are unhappy. People have zero interest and zero love for the person that they're in a relationship with or about to marry. But folks, what I'm saying is be authentic. Okay, when you fall in love with the right person for the right reasons. And those are the type of relationships that last. All right, but what I'm saying is society just dictating and saying something's wrong with you because you're not married or you don't have kids. Again, people struggle with that whole aspect that I know married couples that don't and never wanted kids and don't have kids. But then society's telling them something's wrong with them because you're married for 20 years and you never had kids. Okay, but folks, be true to who you are. Okay, and that's one of the reasons why, and that's why I'm spending so much time on authenticity, because this is something I struggle with for years and years, just like everyone else. But I finally reached the point in my life where I'm like, you know what? I'm living my life. I'm living my best life. And I just truly refuse to settle for anything less. You deserve the best that life has to offer, but we've got to be authentic. We've got to have the right careers and career paths that reflect who we truly are. We've got to be in relationships or not in relationships and in marriages and things like that. You know, we've always got to do things with right motives, with right reasons. Okay, it should be about love. It should be about passion, whether it's career or whether it's relationships. It's not just be, I'm just going to do this because society says that this is what I need to do, and you have zero interest in the person. Because we can get into a whole conversation now, a whole huge conversation on why relationships fail. Because again, the motives going in wasn't right. Okay, so don't let society, be your sole motivation for why you do what you do in life, or why you don't do what you do in life. Okay, live from within. Live your life from within. An authentic person, someone who's comfortable with themselves, has a healthy level of self-love and respect, all right, is one of the most powerful people in the world. You don't need a title, you don't need a salary range or anything like that. It doesn't matter. Be the best you. Be authentic. But again, that's got to stem from you understanding that the real you is okay. Warts and all right? Idiosyncrasies and all. We all have them. We all have them, all right? But what I want you to do is recognize today is a new day. Today is a new beginning. It represents a new path forward for you on this whole track of authenticity. And I promise you from everything deep within my soul, you will not regret living an authentic life. The real you is okay. So go out there and live your best life now. Thank you so much for your time. Make it a wonderful day.